Hey everybody, it's Professor Khalil Amani, and this is Khalil Amani's World 100. We're gonna get right into it. Talking about old Jake Doctrine. That's right. I mean, this guy, Israel Doctrine, Carl Albert Davis, Pizzy, Struggle Doctrine, he changed his names like he changes his underwear, at least once every 2 weeks. So his new name is Jake Doctrine. Jake. That's right. Jake. I said his new name is Jake Doctrine. Shout out to Ananias. Shout out to Ananias for letting us know that Israel Doctrine has changed his name to Jake. We're going to talk about this name in just a minute. Oh, I have so much to talk about. So much is wrong with Israel Doctrine's fake scholarship. Christian, we're going to talk about all this stuff, y'all. Oh my goodness. I'm going to fuck around and make Ananias. Ananias is the name of the nigga that's reading for Pizzy. I'm going to fuck around and convert that nigga. I'm gonna fuck around and Ananias is gonna be Team Khalil if he keep tuning in. Better yet, old Jake Doctrine better not let Ananias watch my videos, because he will be converted. Facts upon facts. There's so much wrong with the first Christians were Israelites, or the first Israelites were Christians. It's so much wrong with that. I've already beat it up and knocked out the park in my last video. But as AI calls it, we're going to take a deeper dive into this ideal, this fundamentally flawed ideal that the followers of Jesus were called Christians. I am going to even prove to you that the word Christian was a derogatory name. See, Israel Doctrine, Jake Doctrine, he wants to get away from the Hebrew title because it was a derogatory term heaped on the backs of the Israelites by the Egyptians and the Canaanites. Well, he just went and took another derogatory name called Christian. You know what it reminds me of? When I changed my name from Lloyd Clark to Khalil Ashanti and then Khalil Amani, I did it because, of course, you all know, most of y'all know, I had to go into the Federal Witness Protection Program. But I wanted to choose a name that said something, my identity, that was Africa, that was close to me. In some kind of way, I ended up with the name Khalil Ashanti. Now, Ashanti and then Amani, those are definitely African names. But Khalil, not so much. It's more of an Arabic Muslim name. And so what I actually did in my thinking of trying to get rid of the Christian slave master's name, Lloyd, I adopted the Muslim's slave master name, Khalil. But that's where I was. I was in my early 30s. I didn't know as much as I know now. And so going from Lloyd to Khalil was simply going from the European Christian slave master's name to the Arab slave master's name. I didn't know. If I could do it all over again, my name would not be Khalil. But I'd say that to say this. Israel Doctrine, in rejecting the name Hebrew, because he knows that the word Hebrew is a word that was made up by Canaanites and Egyptians, So he rejects it, but now he calls himself an Israelite Christian. So he goes from the Canaanite slave name, Hebrew, to the Gentile slave name of Christian. We'll get to all of that. But we're going to deal with, first and foremost, I got the window open. I thought it would be cool, but it's getting a little too cold already. I got the heater on, but that air coming in is a little bit much. Okay. I got the heater on, but I wanted to put some air in this room. But it was open too wide. Okay. But this guy, Struggle Doctrine, a.k.a. Israel Doctrine, a.k.a. Pizzy, a.k.a. Carl Albert Davis, he got a new name. He didn't even tell us that his new name was Jake. Jake Doctrine. That's right. Oh boy. Oh boy. I said, the little guy over there that's reading for him, I think his name is Ananias. He calls Struggle Doctrine, he calls Israel Doctrine, Jake. Now I've heard the name used a couple of times by none other than Hebrew Israelites. Oh, looks like my man Jake, my man Ananias. My man Ananias, although he's trying to ride with Pizzy on the no Hebrew Israelite train, he has brought over to Israel Doctrine's channel some Hebrew Israelite phraseology, some Hebrew Israelite terminology, some Hebrew Israelite verbiage in calling Struggle Doctrine Pizzy Jake. Yeah. Now the first thing, let me let you hear, let's hear him call him Jake. Let's hear him call him Jake. We got to turn our volume up. Because you know we like to do receipts. We do receipts. Now let's go hear him. He calls him Jake several times, but I'll let you hear him call him Jake. Just listen real good. He's going to make a mistake or something, and you're going to hear Ananias, the reader guy, say, sorry, Jake, or my bad, Jake, or okay, Jake, talking to Israel Doctrine. Let's let him talk.
Yeah. Acts 11:19, and now they were assembled or brought up on the persecution that arose about Stephen. Traveling. Oh, I apologize. My fault, Jake. I got you.
There you go.
Acts 11.
I apologize. My fault, Jake. That's Israel Doctrine's new name. It's Jake Doctrine, y'all. It's Jake Doctrine. Let's hear it one more again. I apologize, he says. I apologize.
Yeah. Acts 11:19, and now they were assembled or brought up on the persecution that arose about Stephen. Traveling. Oh, I apologize. My fault, Jake. I got you.
I apologize. My fault. I got you, Jake. I apologize, Jake. This is significant, y'all, what we're going to talk about. Yeah, one more time, as his reader, Israel's Struggle Doctrine's reader has named him Jake.
Christians first in Antioch. Acts 11:19, and now they were assembled or brought up on the persecution that arose about Stephen. Traveling. Oh, I apologize. My fault, Jake. I got you. Acts 11:19. Now,
my fault. I apologize, Jake. Well, what's so significant about the word Jake? Number one, it is clear. Jake goes back to Jacob. Yes, we know that. But amongst the Hebrew Israelites, the black Jews, the black Israelites, the Israelites, black people who call themselves Israelites, black people who call themselves Hebrew Israelites, black people who call themselves black Hebrew Israelites, and whatever other term they want to know, they have popularized the phrase Jake. Well, what's wrong with Ananias calling dear brother Struggle Doctrine Jake? What's wrong with him calling him Jake? Well, I did a little investigation. I wanted to find out, what's this word? I've heard it before Ananias The reader said Jake. I've heard other Hebrew Israelites using the word Jake to refer to one another. But I left it alone. I didn't really, I just thought, I knew Jake had something to do with Jacob, but I didn't really know, the historicity behind the word Jake. But, I'm like the cat, curiosity killed the cat. I'm a curious mofo. So I had to look it up. And was I shocked to find out what the word Jake really means to the Hebrew Israelite movement. You know what it means? The definition of the word Jake, as interpreted by Hebrew Israelites, they call people Jakes who are fake, phony, pseudo, false Israelites. I can't make this shit up. I said, I can't make this shit up. The definition of the word Jake, the very word that this guy Ananias, the reader on Israel Doctrine's channel, he calls him Jake. And when I looked up the definition of the word Jake, it said that Jakes are fake people, false people, phony Israelites, wannabe Israelites, niggas who are faking the funk. Now, I know you want to see it. I know you want to see it. Let's go look at AI. We're talking about AI mode. What does it say here? The exact individual who first used the term Jake as a what? Derogatory. That means bad, nasty, and negative. A derogatory label within the Hebrew Israelite community is not identified in public records. The term Jake is a pejorative used by some members of radical black Hebrew Israelite groups to refer to other black people who they believe are not real Israelites or not living according to their interpretation of the faith. Goddamn. I said, this guy Ananias, the guy who's reading over there on Israel Doctrine's channel, he calls Israel Doctrine, Struggle Doctrine, Jake several times. I've heard him call him at least 3 or 4 times. Call Israel Doctrine Jake. And Israel Doctrine is so dumb and stupid and ignorant about the word Jake that he just lets them say it. But when we look at the definition through AI, it says the exact individual who first used the term Jake as a derogatory, not as a positive, not as a wonderful term, but as a negative term, as a derogatory label within the Hebrew Israelite community is not identified in public records. The term is a pejorative used by some members of radical black Hebrew Israelite groups to refer to other black people who they believe are not real Israelites or not living according to their interpretation of the faith. So every time that this guy Ananias, the reader for Israel Doctrine, calls Israel Doctrine Jake, he is saying that he doesn't believe that Israel Doctrine is a real Israelite. And he doesn't believe that Israel Doctrine is living according to their interpretation of the faith. I didn't make up the definition of the term Jake, but Jake is a derogatory label. The fuck is this guy doing? But it gets better. It gets better. I said it gets better. Here it is. Check this out. Israel by God. The negative, not the positive, the negative usage of Jake likely derives from the biblical story where Jacob is described as a supplanter or heel holder who usurped his elder twin brother Esau's birthright. Within certain black Hebrew Israelite subgroups, this narrative is interpreted in a negative light And the name Jake is used to imply someone is deceitful or a false Israelite. God damn. That damn Khalil, he ain't. That damn Khalil, he's surgical with that research, ain't I? He's surgical. I didn't even know that the term or the name Jake was negative. That it meant somebody that was faking the funk. It meant someone that acted like they were Israelite, but they ain't really an Israelite. That they ain't following the Israelite tradition. A Jake is a negative word to be calling somebody. That takes us back. That takes us back to hear him call Israel doctrine Jake.
11:19, and now they were similar or brought up on the persecution that arose about Stephen traveling. Oh, I apologize. My fault, Jake. I got you. Acts 11:19.
I apologize. My fault. Jake. So that's all we want to really say about that. That this guy, Ananias, who's reading for Israel doctrine, is calling him a fake ass Israelite. And it's clear that probably Israel doctrine doesn't know the terminology, the phraseology, and the definition of the word Jake, and evidently Ananias don't know, or either Ananias is covertly working for Team Khalil. So now his name is Jake Doctrine. What does Jake mean? It says the exact person, the exact individual who first used the term Jake as a derogatory label within the Hebrew Israelite community is not identified in public records. The term Jake is a pejorative used by some members of the radical black Hebrew Israelite groups to refer to other black people who they believe are not real Israelites or not living according to their interpretation of the faith. Israel doctrine got a whole subversive dude over there. The dude is subversive. He's subversive. Furthermore, the term Jake, the negative usage of Jake, likely derived from the biblical story where Jacob is described as a supplanter or a heel holder who usurps his elder twin brother's Esau's birthright. Within certain black Hebrew Israelite subgroups, this narrative of Jake is reinterpreted in a negative light. And the name Jake is used to imply someone is deceitful, they're liars, or a false Israelite. And so Israel doctrine has a whole subversive dude on his platform calling him Jake. And he does it more than once. He does it 4, 5, 6 times. Calls struggle doctrine, Israel doctrine, Jake. But because Israel doctrine is ignorant to the definition of Jake, he doesn't say anything, but he's being called a supplanter. He's being called a false Israelite by the nigga that's reading for him on his own channel. Talk about a motherfucking fail. You can't make this shit up, y'all. You can't make this shit up. Israel doctrine is a false, he's a deceitful and a false Israelite, according to the reader Ananias, who continually calls him Jake. Goddamn. All right, we covered that. I got a lot to cover, but I wanted to start out with letting everybody know that Israel doctrine's new name is Jake Doctrine. Jake Doctrine. Jake the deceitful one. Jake the supplanter. Jake the false Israelite. Because the word Jake means false Israelite. And that dude over there, Ananias, who takes his name from the nigga in the Bible that made Saul see again. But he can't see. Ananias, the reader, he can't see that he's calling his mans a false Israelite. I didn't make up the definition of Jake. The Hebrew Israelites made up the definition of Jake. All right, let's cross that off the list. Man, my goodness, my God. The second thing, okay, we'll move on. I'm gonna be all over the place. I got so much I want to talk about. Let me talk to Jake Doctrine. As it relates to his family, I'm gonna give it about 3 minutes. Jake Doctrine, stop acting like your family is the big bad wolf of America. I'm crazy, but they crazier. Nigga, you live in Parkin, Arkansas. Not Chicago. Stop acting like the baddest motherfuckers on earth come from where you come from. Even if you want to include Chicago, my nigga. Did y'all hear him this morning recently talking about his family, wanting everybody to know that he's crazy, but his family is crazier, and that by me putting the picture of his nephew out there, ooh, something's gonna happen to me. Because he's got the wildest, baddest, big bad wolf, craziest family in America. Stop it, my nigga. We all have crazy people in our family. Nigga, I got felons and killers in my family. In prison and out of prison. And I'm not crazy. But I got family members crazy. I got a brother that's crazy. If you want to use that word. Crazy meaning, someone that don't take no shit and will just go the fuck off. Nigga, we all got people in our family, so stop hyping your family up like they the biggest, baddest, craziest motherfuckers in America. You're not scaring nobody. That's point number one. Stop it, my nigga. Crazy is as crazy does. Everybody can get gotten. And if you think you the baddest bully on the block, go around the corner and there's another bully that's badder than the bully you thought. My family is not the biggest, baddest bullies, and neither is your family. All you got to do is go around the block and there's somebody crazier and badder than your family, Jake Doctrine. Stop it. The other part of the family dynamic is nobody took my videos down. He implied that his nephew took care of the situation of me posting his nephew's family on YouTube. I took it down. It served its purpose. And I don't have no beef with Jake Doctrine's family. I did that video and posted that picture to prove that while he's calling my friend Leaku a white cave bitch, that he has those same so-called white cave bitches in his family. And his nephew and his nephew's family were the proof showing that, again, old Jake Doctrine is a hypocrite. That, as a matter of fact, most of us as African Americans, most of us as black folk, we have white folks in our family. We have Hispanics and Latinas in our family. I got Koreans in my family. We got white people. We got everybody. We're just mixed up. I just did that video and talked about Israel Doctrine's family, respectfully, by the way, to prove that white blood and Europeans run through Israel Doctrine's family just like they run through Leaky's family. That's all that was. The third point about the family is Israel Doctrine admits to us in his most recent video that his nephew wasn't trying to hear his conversation. Bravo and right on to Jake Doctrine's nephew. That clearly Jake Doctrine's nephew understood the bigger picture. And if he was following the drama, he understood the context of why I had to use him and his family to prove a point about interracials and biracials and mixed and blended families. He got the point. Jake Doctrine is so stupid. That's something you should have never even admitted went down. But you come on YouTube and you admit that the venom and the vitriol that you thought was going to go at me by your nephew, he gave it to you. He gave it to you. I didn't want to hear. He didn't want to hear me. He ain't want to hear me. I was trying to explain to him that Khalil been stalking me for 8 years. And he didn't want to hear none of that. Of course he didn't. Because he understood the context in which I used his family to demonstrate and illustrate that we all have interracial people in our family. Most of us do. That was the point. And I did it respectfully and lovingly. And I praised his nephew. And I said, I'm not being disrespectful. And you have a beautiful family. And if if Jake Doctrine's nephew really saw my videos, then he got it. That he's not as stupid as his uncle. That he saw that, yes, while he might not have liked me using him as a reference point, him and his family, he also saw that I did it respectfully, demonstratively, and beautifully, and kind and gentle. And after I did it, I took it down. Nobody came at me as he wants to make y'all believe that the nephew took care of it. Like he reached out from parking or reached out from Chicago and got my video taken off. It was nothing wrong with my video. I simply took it down because it was done and it was over. And I'm a nice guy. That's the third point. And the final point is this. I believe that the only way that Israel Doctrine's nephew knew about my video was that he had to get on the horn and call him. I don't believe for a moment that Struggle Doctrine, that Jake Doctrine's nephew is following his YouTube career to know what's going on. I don't believe that for a minute. And so what we have here is a nigga named Jake Doctrine who thinks he knows the mentality of his family, but he doesn't. And so while the nephew probably didn't know that his picture was being used to demonstrate a point, Israel Doctrine, thinking that they were going to be so outraged at me that he gets on the goddamn phone and he calls his nephew to say, nephew, There's a nigga on YouTube named Khalil Amani who been stalking me for 8 years, and let me send you the video. He used you and your family's pictures in his video. Let me show you. That's the only way that the nephew knew. The nephew is not engaged in old struggle doctrine, in old Jake Doctrine's YouTube career. I saw that man's Facebook page, and it's clear he's a beautiful, handsome family man with beautiful children. He got a good job. He has a house. Everything looked beautiful and normal. He's not on Struggle Doctrine, on Jake Doctrine's YouTube page, watching what he said. He didn't know anything about this. Israel Doctrine, Struggle Doctrine, Jake Doctrine, he just rolled the dice and thought that if he presented this information to his nephew would be crazy upset, fired up, angry at me. But then he comes on today and he admits that his nephew had venom and vitriol and anger and heated words for him, Jake Doctrine, not for me. And the only way that his nephew would have heated and nasty and venomous words for old Jake Doctrine is that he watched my video and he got the proper context and he understood the point I was demonstrating. He may not have liked that I used his family, but the bigger picture is he didn't see disrespect. He saw me speak gentle and kind and loving and beautiful about his family. And so when he stepped to Israel Doctrine, when he stepped to old Jake Doctrine, he thought he was about to hear what he wanted to hear. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that nigga Khalil. Oh yeah, I'm going to Denver to get him. But what he heard was, nah, uncle, nah, you wrong. Nah, you attacked that man's family first. I heard his video. He said and he showed that you attacked his family first. You put his family pictures out there first. That's why I got done. That's why I got put out like that. Because of you. You, Uncle Carl, you're the reason why that man put my pictures out there, because of you attacked that man first. You put his mama out there. I saw it. You got his mama out there. You got his siblings out there. I heard that you reached out on Facebook and you contacted his nieces and nephews and sent them nasty, dirty videos. And that man put me out there because of you, Uncle Carl. But at least when that man put me out there, he didn't do it disrespectfully. He did it to prove a point about you calling somebody else on YouTube a white K bitch. You're wrong, Uncle Carl. How you gonna call people white K bitches and you got white people in your own family, Uncle Carl? Is my wife, is my children, are they K bitches? Are they half K bitches? That's what he gave you. That's why you couldn't talk. Because he understood the complexity of what you and I was talking about on YouTube. And so you got the wrath. Because your nephew fully understood. I think I'm going to shut this video off and then go to my next video. Yeah. You got put out there. You got blasted by your own nephew. Because he understood the whole picture. And he understood that your narrative, oh Jake Doctrine, your narrative was a fake, false, pseudo one. Just like, that's why the nigga call you Jake, because you're false. You're a false Israelite. Now, what they would call that in the psychological world, they would call, when your mans call you Jake, in the psychological world, they would call that a Freudian slip. You know what a Freudian slip is? Is when you say something about somebody that you say, oops, I didn't mean it to come out my mouth. I meant it, but I didn't mean you to know it. I meant it, but I shouldn't have said it out loud. Oops, I said out loud some shit that I was thinking. And so when your man's Ananias calls you Jake, just know that there's nothing redeemable about the word Jake. There's nothing positive about the word Jake. There's nothing to be proud of about the word Jake. That the word Jake comes with the fact that you are a false Israelite and you are not practicing true Israelite tradition. I'm going to end this video because I really want to teach Bible, but I wanted to get this Jake stuff out the way, and I want to address what he said about his family. Maybe I can pull that up. Let's see. Maybe I can pull that up real quick, just so you can hear what he says when he went to tell his nephew about all this rigmarole, and that he admits that his nephew wasn't trying to hear nothing he had to say. Man, I should have had that queued up, but let me see if I can just pull up. Since this video is going to be short, let me pull that up. So give me a moment. Maybe listen to some music. Maybe let's see. Let's go to music while I look that up. I want you to hear it. Let me find it.
I use shipped same-day delivery.
Oh, stop that. We don't want to hear no commercials. Okay. Oh, that was today. Yeah, well, right. Was that today? Yeah, I think it was today. Let me turn this down.
Being at them jobs.
Give me a minute.
But they look to hurt you all. And these people but they look to hurt you.
Come on.
He has the ability to take care of his family and people messing with him. But anybody out there that's in the Davis family, if you don't know that Christ, my family just got together.
Okay, I think I found it. Let me see. I mean, there's some things you just shouldn't admit. You should never have admitted that your nephew gave you the business. Oh, Jake doctrine. Some things you just gotta swallow and say, okay, I lost that one. My nephew is not really upset at Khalil. He's upset at me. Let's just see if we can. I think I got the conversation right here.
But this is what it's about. You know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me.
See? He admits that I grabbed his picture, but he says his nephew was mad at him. And this nigga's so stupid, he doesn't know. I can't understand why he was mad at me. I'll tell you why he was mad at you. Because he understood the full complexity of what was going on. Let me just play it and then we'll come back and talk about it. And then I'm going to close this video out. Let me go back a little bit.
And I had to speak to my
Okay.
foul doctrine when he was a young man. I've never believed a lying, foul doctrine. But this is what it's about. You know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me. I tried to understand. I tried to be peaceful, humble, and talked about it, but he wouldn't let Uncle Carl speak. So I see he took care of it though. He has the ability to take care of his family.
See, now he goes from that to say, but I see he took care of it. He's trying to insinuate that his nephew got at me or called YouTube or some kind of way got the video taken down. No, I simply took it down because I don't have no beef with that man's nephew. I took the video down because I demonstrated my point. My point in using it is that we all have whites and Latinas and other ethnicities in our families. But Israel doctrine, Jake doctrine, he couldn't understand why his nephew didn't understand his point. That's the sign of a narcissist. The reality is your nephew, he looked at the whole spectrum of what I did and he heard my reasons for what I did and he saw that I only used his family's picture to prove a point about the Davis family. And I did it respectfully. He saw that. But this bitch nigga is today complaining. This was today on this Sunday. Mad that his nephew wouldn't listen to him. And I can't understand it. I know you can't understand it because you think you were right. That's why. The reason you, Jake Doctrine, can't understand your nephew's response is because you think that you were right. And what your nephew, who evidently is a very highly intelligent person, putting aside the fact that y'all share the same DNA, he looked at the evidence and said, wait a minute. My uncle struck first. My uncle did the doxing of that man's family first. And so I, the nephew, I have become the residual fallout for my uncle's bad behavior. That's what he found out. That's what he found out. Let's go back. Oh, this is so good. Sometimes you just got to shut the fuck up. Why you come out here and tell us that your nephew basically sided with me? He sided with me. You telling us that.
My family just...
Oh, that was it, yeah.
But this is what it's about, you know. My family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew, who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me. I tried to understand. I tried to be peaceful, humble, and talk about it, but he wouldn't let Uncle Carl speak. So I see he took care of it though. He has the ability to take care of his family and people messing with him. But anybody out there that's in the Davis family, if you don't know that Carl Albert Davis is under attack from government, COINTELPRO kind of intelligence stuff, you're ignorant and you need to...
Oh, he's attacking his family. He's attacking his family and calling them ignorant. He actually thinks that his family is paying attention to his fuckery on YouTube. They're not. But why would he attack his family? I mean, my family, 99% of them, they don't watch me. My wife doesn't watch my YouTube videos. My children don't watch my YouTube videos. I'm being watched by other folks, not my family. But why would Israel Doctrine think that he's so important that his family is watching him? And if they don't know that he's under attack, then they're stupid, or he says ignorant. Look at him. He's mad at his nephew, and he's mad at any of the family who not watching him show his natural monkey ass on YouTube. My goodness.
About it, but he wouldn't let Uncle Carl speak. So
This is good stuff.
I've never believed a lying, foul doctrine. But this is what it's about. You know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew, who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me. I tried to understand. I tried to be peaceful, humble, and talk about it, but he wouldn't let Uncle Carl speak. So I see he took care of it though. He has the ability to take care of his family and people messing with him. But anybody out there that's in the Davis family, if you don't know that Carl Albert Davis is under attack from government, COINTELPRO kind of intelligence stuff, you're ignorant, and you need to stop being ignorant because you're on Facebook and you're on social media, and these people are going through my account seeing who's a Davis. Because if you go under the name Davis, they're stalking you too. Because they can't hurt me for as I'm concerned, but they look to hurt you all. Now, if you don't protect yourself and you want to get mad at Carl Albert, then I treat you just like an enemy. I don't have no problem, family or friend. If you don't know how to protect yourself and you want to get mad at me for living my life and living under my freedom and my ability to do what I do, I ain't got to use no profanity for it. I don't even have to curse or whatever.
Okay, that's enough of it. You see, what he's trying to do is frighten his family. Nobody's attacking old Jake Doctrine's family. That was a one and done situation by me. And I owed him that. And still, when I used his family's pictures, I did not disrespect his nephew. I didn't call him no bitch ass nigga, no. I used his family picture to prove the point that you got white people in your family, just like YouTuber Leak You Interloper Nation has white people in her family, and just like YouTuber Interloper Nation is a biracial beauty, a blend of black fathers and a white mother, you got the same types of beauties and blends in your family, nigga. Your nephew is smart, and he clearly saw that. Your narrative, oh, Jake Doctrine is not believed by your family. Your nephew will go on and he will talk to the rest of the Davis clan. And you know what your nephew's going to say, Jake Doctrine? He's going to say that our uncle, our old ass uncle, who's a year and a half shy of being a half a century old, this old burly beard wearing nigga, our uncle is out there on YouTube acting a jackass and a motherfucking fool. He's showing his monkey ass so much he's attacking other YouTubers' families, and now those YouTubers have fought back and they have looked at the Davis family and they may use your picture next. That there's a guy named Khalil Amani that put my pictures of my family on YouTube. He did it respectful though, family. He did not disrespect us. He talked very glowing and loving about our family. But the reason that this guy in Denver put our pictures on YouTube is because our uncle is showing his natural black ass as a damn near 50-year-old man, and he's putting that man's and other people's pictures on YouTube first. So if our uncle contacts you with this bullshit narrative that we are under attack, you make sure you tell him what I told him. And what I told Uncle Carl was, you did it first. You did it first, and that's why that man put us out there. But at least that man did it respectfully, because I saw how you treated his family, Uncle Carl. My God. Oh, Jakey Jake. Jake Doctrine. That was the conversation we just heard. That's a big old L That's an L. That's a conversation that you had with your nephew that you should have just left off of YouTube. You lost that conversation. That man didn't attack me. He attacked you because he understood the dynamics, because he understood that if you hadn't done it to that man first, that man would not have come over and put the Davis family on Front Street. That's what that man understood. Shout out to your nephew. And don't worry, nephew, I won't do it again. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. I said what I was doing, and I proved my point. And after I proved my point, I took the video down. Nobody had to get my video removed. I took it down because I wanted him to know. I wanted the nephew to know, if he came to my channel, later on, he would see that, oh, the video's gone. Oh, he wasn't trying to be malicious. Oh, he didn't keep it up there for all eternity. He put it up there to prove a point to my stupid ass, raggedy ass, monkey ass uncle, Uncle Carl. But look at Carl today, y'all. He's shitting on his nephew and he's shitting on his family and tell them they ignorant. If they don't know what's going on with him, they are ignorant. Like his life is the only life that matters. I bet you, Carl Albert, old Jake Doctrine, I bet you he doesn't know what most of his family are doing today. I bet he doesn't. He doesn't go to Christmas dinner. He doesn't go to the Thanksgiving function. He doesn't go to the Easter function. He doesn't do anything that we call worldly, so he don't be around his people to know what they're doing with their lives. He don't know what's going on in their lives, but he insists that they are ignorant if they don't know what's going on in his life. They know what's going on in his life. They know Uncle Carl is a stroke victim who ain't working nowhere in America, who's living off of SSI in some, one bedroom apartment, or not even a bedroom, a studio apartment in parking, no driver's license, no car, no girlfriend, no wife, no children. They know he's the outcast of the Davis clan. The Davis family knows that this nigga ain't about Richard Nixon, and Tricky Dick wasn't shit. The Davis family knows that their uncle is the crazy uncle, the one that's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. The one that's so radical in his ideals that he don't come around for the family functions. They know who he is. And they know he's on YouTube causing all kind of chicanery and trouble and malarkey and mess. They know he's keeping a bunch of bullshit going. They've been watching that nigga on and off for 15, 20 years on YouTube. And every time the Davis family looks at one of Carl Davis's videos, they see it's negative, it's bad, it's a bunch of profanity, cursing. They've been watching their uncle for years. And they know that whoever's attacking him, they're probably doing it in a retaliatory fashion. That they didn't start the shit, but they will finish the shit. And while Israel Doctrine, he may have started the doxing of my family, I finished it by using his nephew to prove a point. And the point I proved was so worthy and so grand that the nephew understood the point. And that's why he shitted on his uncle. He took a straight shit on Struggle Doctrine. He straight up barked on Jake Doctrine. He didn't have that shit from me. Because if you want to get at me, tell him to make a video and put it on your channel. Tell your nephew to make a video and put it on your channel, and I'll see his reply and his response. But he don't have that from me because he understood that what I did was a reactionary thing. He's smart enough to know, what's the phrase? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. He knows that. And so while Israel Doctrine tried to run that bullshit narrative to his nephew, His nephew was 2 steps ahead of him. His nephew had already looked at my channel, probably looked at a few of my videos, saw what I was about, saw I have a wife and children, saw me traveling, saw my family, saw me in Atlanta with my grandkids and my kids and my wife partying and having dinner. He probably watched a couple of my videos and saw, oh, he drives a scooter. Oh, he's at a nightclub. Oh, this guy, he got a nice shoe collection. He saw my shoes and stuff. He saw my books and he listened to me say, hey, this guy's not bad. This guy's not bad. Oh, I get it. He posted my picture because my uncle posted his family pictures first. I get it. Let me go and scream. Let me go and bark at my uncle. Thus he would say this, and then we're out of here.
But this is what it's about. You know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up, and he was mad.
See, I bet you old Jake Doctrine, I bet you old Struggle Doctrine didn't tell his nephew, well, I did it to his family first. Ooh, how convenient you leave out the causation. How convenient that old Struggle Doctrine, old Jake Doctrine, probably didn't tell his nephew, well, nephew, well, see, first, what had happened was, first, I went to Khalil Amani's YouTube page and I grabbed pictures of his mama, his daddy, his siblings, and I posted them on my YouTube wall. And then I made a video and I found out his nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters' Facebook pages, and then I sent them a nice little nasty YouTube video about their uncle and their brother, Khalil Amani. I did that first. Oh yeah. I bet he didn't say that. But he wants to tell his nephew that I used the nephew's picture. Oh, you dishonest fellow, you. You dishonest fellow, you.
I've never believed a lying, foul doctrine. But this is what it's about. You know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me.
Because you're a dodo bird. Because you're a dummy. You couldn't understand why your nephew was mad at you because you didn't know that your nephew went and did a little research on the full story. You thought you were talking to a man, your nephew, who only had half the information. But it is clear and it is apparent that your nephew investigated the whole story. That he wanted to find out why would this man, Khalil Amani, who doesn't know me from a can of paint, why would he put my picture on YouTube? And when he found out, oh, my uncle started this shit. Oh, my uncle doxed his family first. So I, the nephew, have become the residual cannon fodder because of my uncle's fuckery. I know you don't want to understand that. Oh, Struggle Doctrine, Jake Doctrine. But your nephew understands that because it's clear that your nephew did his homework so that when you all had this conversation, he knew the full story. Not just that some guy took your pictures and put them on YouTube. He knew the backstory that my uncle started this shit. And me and my family got caught up in the crosshairs because of the fuckery of my uncle Carl Albert Davis. All right, I'm going to play this and let it play out, and then I'm out of here.
It's about, you know, my family just got together. And I had to speak to my nephew who Khalil went and grabbed his picture and put it up. And he was mad at me, and I couldn't understand why he was mad at me. I tried to understand. I tried to be peaceful, humble, and talk about it, but he wouldn't let Uncle Carl speak. So
That's all. That's a conversation, if it happened to me, I would never put that on YouTube. That my nephew went up one side of my ass and came down the other side of my ass. Old Jake Doctor says that his nephew wouldn't let him speak. What does that mean? It means that the nephew was barking on him. It means that the nephew was screaming on him. It means that the nephew had his chest out and was saying, shut the fuck up, bitch nigga. I know you my elder and I know you my uncle, but shut the fuck up because I know the whole story. I'm not letting you talk. I don't want to hear your side. Uncle Carl, you got me and my family caught up in some shit because of your folly. That's what the nephew understood. Your folly got me fucked up and with a nigga on YouTube putting my family out there. But at least I give that man his respect because he did not do it in a vindictive and dirty and mean and nasty and disrespectful way. He praised my family. He said I had a beautiful family. And he said the reason he's doing it is to show that African Americans and black folk have mixed heritage families. But you, my uncle, are the one who caused that man because you were out there, my Uncle Carl, you were out there calling another woman who's biracial, who has a black father and a white mother, you were out there calling her a K bitch. And that man simply went to your Facebook page, recognized who you were related to, and then came across the fact that my uncle, while he's out there being a hypocrite and calling another YouTuber a white K bitch, he's found out that I have so-called white K bitches in my family too. That's what the man did. That's why he did. That's why Struggle Doctrine, that's why Jake Doctrine, that's why he didn't let you talk, because he understood everything I'm saying. He sided with me. You took an L, my nigga. You took an L. And that's a conversation. Why would you give me that? Why would you give us that? That's a conversation that if it happened to me, where my nephew screamed on me and wouldn't let me talk, and basically told me that I was wrong. Oh, that's what he told you. I said, your nephew told you that you were wrong, my nigga. That's why he wouldn't let you talk, because he didn't want to hear shit you had to say. But if that happened to me, I'd swallow that shit. I would never put that on YouTube. But I appreciate, thank you for your honesty, my nigga. You took an L. Your nephew screamed and barked on you. He straight shitted on you and wouldn't let you talk. I love that. With that, y'all, we coming back to talk. And honestly, I didn't mean to even, I meant to give all this about his nephew, I meant to give that 2 minutes. I swear to God, I meant to give that 2 minutes. And because I got to get to this whole Christian thing. So we'll come right back with the next video. Take care. Peace.